Hello, good morning, and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation on what is a match day, guys. It's a very stormy day down here in the Midlands of England. Storm Dara rocks the UK. Let's hope that Storm Rangers rocks Ross County in Dingwall at lunchtime today. Unfortunately, I'll be never on the channel today because I am unfortunately having to work today in my real job until this channel pays enough to actually stay and do this full time, like the rabble. That's the way it's going to have to be. So, guys, if you want to help me get to do this all the time, bring live watch-alongs every single game, watch the channel, subscribe, build it up, guys. Help me get there. After all, remember, this is a free channel. We don't charge you for content. We don't hide content behind paywalls. That's not the way we work here at Glasgow Rangers Nation. Well, Philippe Clement has a massive decision today in terms of his formation, in terms of who he picks. We'll look a little bit into that. We're also going to talk about a possible Rangers transfer target for January. Already transfer links starting to come in ahead of the January window. We'll talk a little bit about that as well as obviously just address any sort of general things around the team and the league as well. Let's start there, shall we? So yesterday, the SPL fixtures that took place yesterday saw our dear friends from across the city, shall we say, so I don't get any more stick for calling them that lot, win 3-0 in a game that, well, they should have had a player sent off, shouldn't they? I mean, let's face it, that stamp by Engels was a sending off. In any other league, that is a sending off. But the fact that he wears green and grey means it's not a sending off, because we all know that the referees and the SFA are totally and utterly biased and run by Celtic and run the league solely for the glorification of Celtic Football Club. Dundee United drew 1-1 with Kilmarnock because Kilmarnock bounced back from their drubbing during the week. St Mirren lost 1-0 to Motherwell. Aberdeen had the wheels come off up on the north-east coast of Scotland in the Granite City. It's a 1-1 yesterday with St Johnstone. Although St Johnstone maybe just decent team this year, hard to beat. We were lucky to get the victory over them last year. Not last year. We were unlucky not to get something out of that game with us the other day. And Hearts actually won a game. They beat Dundee 2-0. I mean, pretty amazing that Dundee were in decent form, but Hearts get the win. That's pretty astounding that Hearts actually won yesterday. And Lawrence Shankland back on the goal trail, maybe ready ahead of a January move to Ibrox. He's getting the goals in. Rangers. Well, that leaves us 5 points behind Aberdeen. A victory today moves us within 2 with a game in hand, meaning that we obviously win that game in hand. What would be the game actually? No, that would put us equal on points with them. But it's 30-32. Yeah, would put us 35, put a point ahead of them if we win the game in hand on them. Yes, 35. Yes, and let's face it, one thing I want to say about that is a lot of people are kind of glorifying and having a glorification of Aberdeen coming apart a little bit. But I'll tell you something. It isn't really a great thing, to be celebrating finishing second. I mean, that's not what this club is about. This club is not about finishing second. It really, genuinely isn't. Right, well, let's have a little look, shall we, at the transfer rumour that has been doing the rounds of late. Now, the transfer rumour of late is that Rangers are interested in signing Leeds United striker stroke attacking midfielder stroke 10 Joe Gelhardt. Personally on this one, I don't see this as a player that we need at this point. I think there are other more pressing needs at this moment in time. Now, one of the pressing needs for me is a striker. That is an absolute must for me. It is a striker. We do need to buy a striker. But if this is the striker, if Rangers think that this is the striker, then they are very, very, very sadly mistaken. Because one thing that Joe Gelhardt is not a striker. He is a 10. He is an attacking midfielder. He can also play out wide. He certainly isn't a striker. That's not one of his positions. He's never really played in that position. And the one time that he did was when he went on loan to Sunderland, and Sunderland tried to use him in that 9 role, and he really did look lost. He's not a player that will go and stand up there. He's not a player that will go and be the out and out 9. So, his overall record as well is not great. If you look at this overall record of his, 57 appearances for Leeds United, many of those coming off the bench, only 3 goals and 5 assists. Obviously the under-21s, he scored a lot of goals, but you can kind of disregard under-21 football. It's not you know, in the 21 football is a step down from full football. Wigan 21 appearances, 1 goal. Sunderland 20 appearances, 3 goals and 3 assists. He is a guy who came through the Wigan youth system, a Scouser. I mean, so, overall, you look at that, and you look at sort of 98 appearances and 7 goals in 98 appearances. It's hardly prolific, is it? It's Lammers and Dessers-esque in terms of goals. I genuinely don't see this as the striker. And if Rangers believe that Joe Gelhardt could be the striker that they're looking for, I think there's a great delusion within the recruitment department, because he really genuinely is not a striker. For a 10, well, that would therefore, say, well, okay, we bring him in as a 10. Well, then do you move Hadji out? But then yes, there may be a need for a 10, but I think the need for a striker is far more pressing at this moment in time. And yes, in January, I would love us to go and sign a 10, a striker, a winger, a right back, a centre back, and fill all these positions we need. But realistically, in January, you're not going to get all these players. And realistically, with the budget the way it is at the moment, you're not going to go and get all these players. Gelhardt he's an all right player. He's not a brilliant player. He's not a terrible player. He's okay. I just don't see this as the Rangers at this point. Like I said, I've actually watched this lad play a lot, and that'll be the comeback. Have you seen him play? Yes, I have seen him play. I've seen him play a lot of games actually. I watch a lot of English Championship football, and I have seen him play a lot of games. I don't think he's the answer. I don't think he'll contribute a massive lot to the team. Like I said, I really hope that the Rangers are not seeing this guy as been the striking option that they're looking for, because I really seriously don't believe he is. So look, at the end of the day, this is not the move for us. I mean, yes, he is a young player. I mean, it could be a loan. That's a possibility. The guy's been out on a lot of loans and never really proved himself. All the clubs that he's been on loan to have never really wanted to sign him. So what message does that give about him? He went on loan to Sunderland. They didn't want him. He went on, he's been at Leeds for a lot of time, really struggled to break through into their team. Even, Leeds being back in the Championship, he struggled to play for Leeds as well. So, what sort of message is that sending about this player that that perhaps he isn't up to that standard? Is he another one of those Championship duffers that we don't really want? Is he another Dowell, another Matondo? Is he another one of those players? I don't think we really need Joe Gelhardt. I don't think this is a sensible move. I think this will be a big waste of money if we went and bought him. I genuinely do not rate the guy in terms of him being good enough to improve this squad. I mean, certainly, for me, when you go to sign players, you work on the basis of are they better than what you've already got? So, you look at the 10 position at this moment in time. Is he better than Lawrence? Yes, probably. But then again, most people are. Is he better than Yanis Hadji? Certainly not. Is he better than Nadeem Bayrami? No, he's not. And that's another thing. I don't get the wisdom of buying another attacking midfielder if we've spent $4.5 million on Bayrami, if we've got Hadji. Don't get it. Don't understand that. And like I said, he's not a striker. And if the club are seeing him as a striker, that just shows poor scouting, poor recruitment. I mean, this is a guy whose goal rate is absolutely, genuinely dreadful for a striker. Actually, he's never really played a striker. And people saying, oh, well, he can be converted into striker. No, he can't, because he played 20 games there for Sunderland in the Championship and was very, very, very average. Very average in a very attacking team. In a team that created a lot of chances, which Sunderland that year certainly did, with the likes of Patrick Roberts, Jack Clark, Amad Diallo in the team. They certainly created an awful lot of chances. So I genuinely believe that Gelhardt is not the answer and would be a very bad move for Rangers. Right, let's move on to today's game in Dingwall. Stormy Dingwall by all accounts, very windy up there from what I'm seeing on videos on social media this morning. This is my team for today. This is how I would line up today. I really genuinely hope. I know it's his birthday today. I am sending him a present. I'm going to send Cyril Dess a present. I'm sending him a one-way ticket to Siberia. I hope he takes it up. Look, I think this will be the team today. This is what I would play today. Whether Clement will go for this, I don't know. I can actually see him starting Dessers after Dessers scored those 2 goals on Wednesday night. I'm sorry, even after those 2 goals, I don't rate the guy in the slightest. I do think he is a backup striker at best. And I think, if you're thinking that he's a starting striker, you really need to give your head a wobble. Jack Butland in goal, obviously. Back 4, Tav will start because Sterling's not fit. Cass is done for the season pretty much. I think, whatever it is with James Tavernier, the fact that James Tavernier is poor, he is poor. He is one of the worst players in Scotland. I think we are stuck with him till the end of the season now. I think the chances of moving on in January will be very slim indeed, unless we actually sign a right back, which I can't see us doing. So we are stuck with Captain Wally. Suter and Balogun, I think, need to be the central defensive pairing, and that looked really solid the other night, and I just think that Proper is a bit of a bomb scare. And I think in Dingwall against a physical Ross County in difficult conditions, he is not the player you want to be putting in there. Kiefte at left back, I thought he was excellent on Wednesday night. I don't want look as bad as this is on poor little Conor Barron. I don't want to see us go back to two defensive midfielders. This is not Parkhead or Pittodrie. This is not Old Trafford. We're not playing a team that are going to come and really go at us. So I don't think we need two defensive central midfield players. So Raskin is that six. As he talked about, he's been excellent in that six role. Really kind of negated the need for Rangers to go and buy a six in January or going forward in the summer. So I do think that's the answer there. Diamande alongside of him, a bit more attacking. Yes, he wasn't great the other night, but the problem is at this moment in time, what other options do we have? Kieran Dowell? No, thank you. And as much as I would love to see Cole McKinnon or Bailey Rice or Paul Ncio come in, let's face it, the manager ain't going to use them. So, look, realistically, it's going to be Diamande. Hadji, I think, has to start in that more advanced role with Cheney and Hamza and Danilo up front. A lot of people put it's a 4-4-2 they played. Now, I don't think it was. It was a 4-3-3 with a very much a fluid movement to the front three. With when Hamza was in the middle, Danilo dropped left. When Danilo was in the middle, Hamza dropped left, and so on and so forth. There was even times when Cheney was on the left, Hamza went to the right. So I think it was very much a fluidity. And I think when you're playing against a low block, that's what you need. You need a very fluid front three, a very mobile front three. And that's another reason not to play Cyril Dessers. Dessers is not mobile. He does not get about. He cannot interchange positions like Hamza, Danilo and Cheney do. That is just not his game. So again, putting him back in would be a massive, massive error for me. So that's how I would line up today, guys. Let me know your lineups for today. Now, this is a game where we need to be getting revenge. We need to be getting back on. I mean, that was a game last year that pretty much ended any chance we had of going for the title, which we had in our hands last season, didn't we? That 3-2 defeat away in Dingwall, including two absolute glaring Cyril Dessers misses. Typical Dessers. But look, this is the way forward. I mean, we've got to get the revenge today, and it's all about building for me on that Wednesday night performance against Kilmarnock. It's about taking that, running with the positive, and that's why I wouldn't change the team for the game tonight. I think changing the team will unsettle it again, and I think also the fact that Thursday night you can't play Hadji, you can't play Danilo, unfortunately, because they're not in the European squad. So you're probably going to see Dessers back against Tottenham. God help us. Cyril Dessers up against Mickey van der Ven. Mickey van der Ven is going to make Dessers look like an absolute pub player. So, look, I think, at the end of the day, I would stick with the same team going into today's game. It's a massive week for Rangers. We've got to hope the players don't have one eye on Thursday night, the game against Tottenham, which is huge. A game that could actually get, if we would win it, would probably get Ange Postecoglou sacked as Tottenham manager. And then obviously the cup final next Sunday against Celtic. Guys, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your feelings ahead of today. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Rangers victory. I don't think it'll be as easy. I think it'll be nervy. I think it'll be due to the conditions. And the fact that Sundays we never seem to play well at 12 o'clock on a Sunday. Maybe 3-1. Let's go 3-1, a bit more optimistic. So 3-1 Rangers today. Guys, thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation today. Thank you also, please, for subscribing, hitting the like, smashing the comments, doing all that good stuff for me. And as always, please remember, we are one Rangers family. We are the people.